meeting is now in session. Roll call, please.
All right, good morning, Chairman Hamilton.
Here.
Councilman Dan Wood.
Here.
Denolis Polite. Here. Meg James. Gwen Chambers. Grace Staples. Here. Doug McGill.
Here. Before you, I'd like a motion to accept the agenda that's before you.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. The same as minutes for March 2nd, which you received. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Old and new business will be with Victoria giving us her reports.
All right, good morning again, and welcome you all to the middle of April already. All right, on your screen, you have our memo. The adopted budget for the fiscal year 23 Neighborhood Assistance Program was $190,000. An additional $20,000 was placed in the account on January 10th, 2023 to make an amended budget of $210,000. During the March 14th, 2023 Town Council meeting, Council approved an additional $100,000 to be added to the Neighborhood Assistance Program budget, which brought the overall fund balance to a total of $310,000. As of April 6, 2023, a total of 48 homes have been serviced for home repairs, such as roofing, wet and damaged floor repairs, and septic pump out, totaling $257,920.10. The remaining budget for the 2023 fiscal year is $52,079.90. Any questions on that memo? There's a lot of numbers and a lot of dates in there, but we kind of went over this each time that we had to speak on it. So, you guys have any questions?
Forgive me, what our fiscal year is?
Our fiscal year runs June 30th through July. So we are ending in June. We are ending this fiscal year 23 at the end of June.
So that 52,000 is for the remaining 3 months of the fiscal year.
Yes, sir. Okay. To date, 6 residents are waiting for repair estimates, and repairs have begun on 6 homes. So to go over that, the six waiting for repair estimates have already been approved. So Kevin has already approved those, and those 6 are getting repairs done now or are already scheduled. So the 6 there, their budget is already in. So we're not going to count the 6 remaining. The 6 that are waiting, we're not counting that into the 52,000 because they have already been withdrawn from you. Okay.
So they're part of 46 or 48?
They are part of the 48, yes. Yes. Okay. And then, excuse me, here we have a breakdown of those numbers. Any questions, comments, or concerns there?
Do we have any other applications outside of the 6?
Outside of the 6, no, ma'am. So the 6 that are waiting on estimates, no, nothing. I did give some out, but they haven't come back into me yet. So, yeah. And like I said, every month we're moving, we're rolling. So.
I have a question. I noticed on Buck Island Road the other day, let's say that you're going down Simmonsville and you're turn left on to Buck Island.
Okay. If you're at the baseball field?
No.
No.
RSI.
RSI, okay. Okay.
Down on the right, I noticed a house about 4 houses down. Well, you know what, I don't know if it was a house or a mobile home. Anyway, it had a tarp on the back half of the roof. And I didn't know if you were familiar with that or not.
Yes. The town has done, we put the tarp on.
Okay.
The house had a fire, so we put the tarp on. We cannot give any assistance because they're not actually living in the home yet. They had a fire. So once they get back in, then we'll be able to give some assistance.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? Okay. I'm going to move us down. We have already did our April Fair Housing Month. We had to push our meeting back, so this was discussed at the Town Council meeting on Tuesday. But April 2023 marks the 55th anniversary of the signing title of the 1968 Civil Rights Act as amended, which guarantees fair housing opportunities for all Americans. A resolution will be presented or was presented at the April 11, 2023 Town of Bluffton Town Council meeting, declaring April as Fair Housing Month in the Town of Bluffton. This act is to affirm the continued dedication to fair housing principles and regulations established by the state of South Carolina and the United States federal government. A copy of the proposed resolution is attached. And again, this was announced and presented at Town Council on Tuesday. Any questions there? Kind of self-explanatory. Okie dokie. I am going to pause right there. I do have, do you guys have any questions before I move forward? Feel like we went kind of fast. Any questions? I do want to announce for the record, Ms. Meg James has joined us. Good morning, Meg. Good morning. So I spoke with, but Matt Lyle of Lyle Construction, who was working on our 1095 May River Road, has been emailing back and forth. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on that. This email came through on April 3rd. Matt and Amanda met. Amanda is from Pierre Scott, and they met and they went over a review of the draft floor plan for our May River 1095. Not too much information, but they are allowing for 3 buildings consisting of 4 units each for a project total of 12. So our May River 1095 project will consist of 12 townhomes. They are planning for the end units to be 3-bedroom units, and the interior units will be a mix of 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom units. Not a lot of information, but that's a big step for us, so I just wanted to share that all with you. And I can copy and paste that email to you so you can have it for your record, so you'll know the total count and the bedroom size of those 12. And that came from Matt. Okay. I also did a little bit of research. We are working with Madison Group is an apartment complex that's coming over in the New River area, 205 Forest Trace, and they are going to have a couple of units for us at fair market rate, is what they have online. But for our units that they're giving us, they're going to be 5 units at 60% AMI, and they're going to be 5 units at 80% AMI. So that is going to be different sizes for our affordability.
Where was this again? New River?
New Riverside. It's called.
Is it the new apartments?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes. And the address is 205 Forest Trace. That's across from the Publix on that circle. Okay, so I did some research, and what I looked at was fair market rate. I reached out to them to see if they can give us the actual affordability rate, but they haven't had that calculated out yet. These apartments will be done at the end of May, so they're working fast, so we'll be able to put 10 affordability units in there. But the fair market rate, and I just spoke with Councilman Hamilton, when I looked at this, it was yesterday. So a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 745 square feet on yesterday was going for $1,695 between $1,695 and $1,740. Councilman Hamilton just looked, and it's now $1,885 to $1,930. So in a 2-day time frame, that has jumped about $200, $250 for that 1-bedroom, 1-bath.
That's called affordability what?
That is the fair market rate. Yes, that's the fair market rate.
So this is the algorithms running against what's happening.
Yes.
So computer.
Exactly. So the 2-bedroom, 2-bath, when I looked, it was running from $2,140 to $2,185. Councilman Hamilton just showed me $2,340 to $2,385. And that's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,186 square feet. So these numbers, they're jumping. As you all know, that algorithm that they're using is just ridiculous. So we just want to keep in mind that this is what everyone has to fighting with right now. But again, that is not the affordability rates. When I get that, I will let you know. But they are putting 5 units at 60% AMI and 5 units at 80% AMI, and these will be open the end of May. Okay? So I'll come back with some more info once I get that clarification of what those numbers will be. Any questions with that?
When she said these are our units, it really is not our units.
Not our units. It's the numbers that we're looking at.
These are units that the UDO requires them to build 20% affordable units.
For how long?
I think 40 years, right?
30 years.
30 years. 30 years.
30 years.
So what requires them to do that, Chairman?
The anytime we have a new development coming now, the UDO dictates that it depends on the type of development it is, right? The UDO dictates that they have to build 20%
Okay.
affordable. Yeah.
And that's a Bluffton requirement?
Yes.
City of Bluffton? Okay, so anytime they get a permit, they have to agree to that.
Not every property falls under that category. It depends on. Heather, help me out with that.
Yes. So the state of South Carolina does prohibits inclusionary zoning, which that is the requirement that every development, like I think North Carolina has it, other states have it, where anytime you build, so you build a subdivision in Old Town, you build a subdivision, you verse 20, a certain percentage has to be affordable. South Carolina legislature says, no, we can't do that. However, we can put requirements in our PUDs, in our development agreements, because that's a contract. It's almost like contract zoning, for lack of a better term. So then you can put these rules and stipulations. And the developer of New Riverside Village, he was kind of caught in the timing where it was a requirement. It was a little bit, just kind of back and forth. But him and council approved. Okay, here's how many units we're going to do at this breakdown. And in addition to that, you have to build those first. So, you kind of can't get the can down the road, so to speak. So I think that was great for council and the developer to put all that in place. So we'll see. And by end of May, I'm guessing those units will be a lot cheaper than $1,600. I sure hope so. Pardon me?
Did Miss Green find her a place to live yet?
I do not know.
I'm working with her.
All right. Well, the reason I bring it up is obviously she might qualify for one of these.
Well,
I know we were looking at the numbers to see if she would, and I think the 100% she would.
She would.
Maybe the 80, but not the 60.
Say that again.
The 100% AMI units she would. The 80 I'm not sure on. I know the 60 she did,
Okay.
but. Yeah.
well, I've been working with her since our last meeting, and I'm going to tell you, we did look for other apartments, or I did. It's cheaper for her to own a home.
Really?
So we are working with USDA and other avenues to get her in a home. I mean, it is almost $500 a month less to own her own home.
But where?
Sun City.
She's not old enough to live in Sun City, is she?
Well, that's what I thought. She surprised me. I said, well, you're not old enough for that. But, yeah. So, but there are several places, some of the farm, there's several, and some new developments, not in Bluffton, but it's just amazing what we uncovered. So she is going to be renting. She had renewed her lease because it was up. She's going to be renting at a slight increase if she had for just a few months until we can see what she can get in. But they were going to increase her rent, I think, to the tune of about $700 a month. This is in Hardyville.
Well, the reason,
Richland,
and thank you, Grace, for doing that. She is obviously, her story stuck with me, obviously, and learning about these algorithms makes me nauseous. But regardless, I was going to say that if things don't work out, Mr. Matei, who's the owner of these apartments, he worked with us to give us those 10 units. He didn't really have to at the time. And he wanted to do more affordable housing units possibly in the future. He might be willing to take a phone call. You can get her in at 100%. If she can't find a place to buy, he might be willing to entertain that. You don't know unless we ask.
Thought maybe she would have popped in. With that being
She wanted to be here, by the way, but she had
Okay.
another meeting. I know
Okay.
we will miss her.
Gotcha. With that being said, I pulled up some rental numbers for the state of South Carolina, so it's funny that you all kind of went in that direction. The average minimum wage for South Carolina right now is $7.25. The average renter wage is $15.98. Two-bedroom housing wage is $19.30. The number of rental households is 586,090. Percentage of renters is 30%. So this is just kind of a breakdown of the rental rates in South Carolina. In order to survive, if you're going to be a renter, if you can see the hours here that you would need to work at that $7.25 minimum wage, you're literally just barely making it. And the way that the rental numbers are going up is just, so I'm glad that we are working on our Maybe Rent to 95, and I'm glad that we have those affordability rental units going into apartments, because the way this is working, I think we're going the right direction. It's kind of sad once you look at it and see it on paper, but that's the reality. I went to a housing opportunity conference in Arizona, March 27th to the 29th, and it's just not South Carolina. All over the big cities, the small cities, they're all having issues with finding affordable housing for their income, certain income residents. So it's a team effort. I learned a lot, so I will be giving you guys a summary and an overview of what I learned next month. So I just want us to keep pushing and working for this cause, because people my age are struggling for housing. So we just gotta keep working, because this here is really an eye opener of what's going on. And then the next sheet just kind of lets you know where we fall.
If you go back, sorry, when I come in these meetings again, I'm sorry. If you too look at that most expensive areas, like that's very enlightening too.
Yes.
Because
We fall.
look at the bottom left-hand corner, the most expensive areas.
Yes.
You have Charleston, who's just a little bit more expensive than us, and we're Beaufort County, we're
there.
25% higher than Greenville. So
We're pushing it. This is, I found this yesterday online, and let Heather know that I would be including it into our meeting. And then with the conversation that we just had, I think it fits. So I'll send this guys to you if you would like it, but it's just kind of a breakdown of where we are. Right? Any questions, comments?
Good work, Victoria.
Thank you.
And thank you, Victoria, for sending us the Palmetto State Housing Study that you sent after last month. It just blew my mind, really, that
Yeah.
so many people in our area are, I guess they call it housing burdened, just really can't afford it. More money is going out for housing than is left at the end of the month.
Yes, ma'am. So our neighborhood assistance program is keeping a lot of our residents in place, so that's a pat on the back for us all, being that we put that extra money in there, and we're busting to keep our lifelong residents where they need to be. So right now, I'm going to end my presentation, and I'm going to let Ms. Meredith come up. We met Ms. Meredith about 2 months ago. She is from South State Bank. She has a small presentation that she would like to share with us. Pass the mic.
Thank you. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
So I was here a couple months ago and shared with you some information about our affordable housing loan program called our Buyer's Advantage Loan Program. And I think it's perfect I'm here today just listening to the agenda this morning, because I'm going to give some examples. Dan, you had asked a couple questions asking if I can come up with some scenarios as to if we have a particular client that's looking to buy in Bluffton, making 80% of the area median income, how much could they afford in Bluffton? So I have some scenarios here, but to back up, just a little bit about South State Bank. We have over 240 locations within 6 states, $44 billion in assets, 5,000 employees, $36 billion in deposits, over 1 million customers, and then $30 billion in loans. So we're a very diversified bank, very healthy. We're over 6 states, so Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and Alabama. But let's get into the meat of everything. So this is our Buyer's Advantage portfolio loan. Again, to recap, it's a 30-year fixed product. We can offer 100% financing with no private mortgage insurance. The client cannot have any ownership interest in any other properties except the one they're purchasing and buying or getting a loan with. It has to be their primary residence. The minimum credit score requirement is going to be 640. We are going to require escrows for taxes and insurance. They have to have 1 month of reserves, meaning 1 month of payment. So the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. They have to have 1 month of reserves in an account that we can verify. And the property locations and or income limits apply, and I'll get into that in the next couple of screens. So to qualify for the Buyer's Advantage portfolio loan, one of the following must be true to qualify. So 1, the property must be located in a low or moderate income census tract. 2, the property location has to be in a high minority census tract greater than 50%. Or 3rd, the borrower's income has to be 80% or less of the median family income. So one of those 3 have to apply to qualify for the Buyer's Advantage program. So how we determine those 3 items is through the FFIEC census tract. I've provided the link here. Anybody can go on it. But it's the Federal Financial Institutions Examination Council. So it will identify that property if it's in a low to moderate income census tract or if it's in a high minority census tract. And it'll also identify the 80% area median. So, for example, I just plugged in a property in Bluffton Park because I know it's in the town limits, and I just wanted to kind of let you know what I look for. So I plugged in a property in Bluffton Park, and I highlighted the tract income. So as you can see, this particular property is in a middle tract. The area median is 94.6. That's at 100%, so we would take 80% of that. And then the tract minority is at 49.73. So if I were to look at this property and I have a client interested in purchasing this property, it's not in a low to moderate income census tract and it's not in a high minority census tract. And that is all of Bluffton. So I looked at every single census tract in Bluffton, and no properties located in Bluffton are in a low or moderate or a high minority. So for a client that is interested in this product, they have to be below 80% of the area median. Okay? So what is that? That is $75,680. So any client that is interested in this program at 100% financing has to be below their annual income has to be below $75,680.
Does that change based on the size of the family?
So it's not. So it's based on application.
Okay.
So if wife is just on the loan, husband can also make income, but we are not including that. So as long whoever is on the application. So it's not like USDA where they look at a household income.
Could you give us that website again for a moment?
Yeah, it's
So would you say that again, Meredith? About the the AMI.
Sure, it's not. It's not. I learned a little bit, and I asked our credit admin. It's not area median income. It's the FFIEC.
Way that they analyze it.
Yes, it's $1,000 difference. I looked. I don't know why or what the difference is, but it's $1,000 difference from the area median income and the FFIEC. So we have to use this one.
The 94.6 that you just showed us, that's for a family. Isn't that for 2 people and a family of 4?
That's what the 2022 FFIEC estimated MSA median income is, family income. This is just from the website. I don't know how they determine this number, but it is $1,000 off from the area median income. I'll find out. I'll follow up.
Okay, I think it's a family of 4 and I think it's a family. I think it's a family bigger than a family of 4 because a family of 4 was about, I don't know. I would put numbers on the record.
Oh, you're fine. And we don't look at the number of household members, so we don't even identify that in this loan program.
Well, that makes it a lot more attractive.
Right. So we're not verifying income on a non-borrower on an application.
So I understand what you're saying, but where I'm a little confused, and let's take the example you were kind of touched on a second ago. Let's say that, so your number is $75,000 to qualify for this loan, right?
Under 75.
Right.
Yep.
In this area.
In this area, correct.
Right, and so somebody qualifies at $73,000. Or excuse me, their income is $73,000, right? So they qualify or they don't qualify?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so their income is at $77,000.
They will not.
They do not qualify.
Unless the property is a low or moderate income census tract or a high minority
Okay,
census tract.
this is where I'm going. So the spouse, if they have a spouse, is making $50,000, but you only look at the one.
On the application.
Right.
Based on an application. So if wife can qualify with just her income, at 75,000, if I can qualify her, then that's how we'll qualify for this loan program, even if husband's making additional 50,000. So we're only looking at based on the application. We're not looking at the household income like USDA looks at.
And you said that in this area, only you can't qualify them with the other two tracks
Right,
because
in Bluffton, right, in all of Bluffton, I looked at every single census tract.
there's no low to moderate income or minority track.
Or minority, correct, over 50%. There's one pocket in Hilton Head and then Jasper County is where you get into.
One pocket in Hilton Head and then Jasper County.
Yeah, and then a lot of Jasper County, and then all over the state. There's several. But I know you guys want the information for Bluffton, so.
No.
Yeah, so the Bluffton.
I just wanted to be clear on that.
Yeah, of course. So we do this product a lot in our rural areas in South Carolina, Hampton County, Jasper County, Ridgeland, yeah.
I would think one of the most difficult hurdles to overcome is the credit score. 640.
It's actually.
Yeah.
A lot of low-income people are hanging on by the ragged edge. I think the credit score would flush out a lot of people.
FHA's minimum is 580. So conventional is 620. So we'll get into some slides here and I'll give some examples on a scenario with a client that has some debt versus no debt, what they would qualify for in Bluffton, because I know that's what you were wanting. But yeah, they have to have they have to have a minimum of 640 credit scores. We're lending 100%. With no mortgage insurance. So it is, of course, we have
There's
to.
some risk associated with
Of course,
that.
and this is all based on, they also have to be qualified. And this is, and I didn't even talk about what we do for qualifying as far as, determine the debt to income ratio and, income and assets and all that. So, but I will get into some scenarios here that I think you'll find interesting. But I wanted to kind of just talk to you about what I do as a loan officer in qualifying a client. I look at their current debts and then I look at their current monthly qualified income. Some examples of debts, car loans, credit cards, student loans, personal installment loans, alimony, child support, or any liens or judgment or on payment plans. So those are some debts that I'm currently looking at on a credit report. And then I'm also looking at what their qualified income is. So their salary, their pension, their Social Security, disability, overtime, commissions, bonus, etc. So first scenario, so I wanted to give a scenario with a client in Bluffton that is making $75,000 a year. Everything that when we qualify, we look at monthly. So we take $75,000 divided by 12 months, it's $6,250. And the maximum debt to income ratio on this program is 43%. So if you take that times 43%, their total maximum debts cannot exceed $2,687. So in this first perfect world scenario, the client that I'm meeting today has no debt, only the proposed mortgage. So for example, on a 30-year fixed, today's rate's at 6.25. That is, of course, subject to change, but today the rate is 6.25. So if a client comes to me and they're interested in purchasing $360,000 purchase price, borrowing $360,000 at 6.25, the monthly principal and interest payment would be $2,217. Estimated taxes $200, estimated homeowners insurance $150, and then estimated HOA dues $100. So that's a total monthly payment of $2,667. Again, if this client has no debt, the only debt that they have is this proposed mortgage, then the client would qualify, because if you take that $2,667 divided by the $6,250 in their monthly income, that's a 42.7% debt to income ratio. But in real world, most people have some debt. So same scenario, $360,000, same monthly payment. But this next client has a $300 car payment, a $50 credit card payment, and a $50 student loan payment. So along with the proposed mortgage, that total debts equal $3,067. If you take that divided by their income, then they're at 49%. So they would not qualify in this scenario. So I wanted to give like a scenario for a realistic. So let's say the client does have this current debt load. In this specific scenario, they're looking at around a $300,000 loan for somebody that makes $75,000. And these are taxes based on town of Bluffton, and a homeowner's insurance estimate, which is pretty reasonable. HOA dues, of course, vary. So it's really hard to tell, it's all going to be based on the client's debt load. So if they have more debt, it's less I can qualify on a mortgage. If they have no debt at all, I can qualify more on a mortgage. So let's give another scenario for a client that's making $60,000 a year. That's $5,000 a month times 43%. That's $2,150 is the total maximum monthly debt. Again, perfect scenario. We're at $280,000. This is for a client that has no debt. They would qualify for a $280,000 loan on this loan program. Real world, they have $400 in monthly debts. So at $280,000, they would not qualify. They'd be over the ratio. So they're right at $230,000 would be ideal for a client that has $400 a month in debt. So does that help give you a little bit of, just real world scenarios as to, okay, any questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
It does. But one of the things that I noticed in that income and the inventory of homes in the area, there's nothing in that price bracket.
That's what I was going to ask.
It's very low inventory.
I know. Grace, I'm sure you can speak to that more too. It's a challenge for sure.
Yeah, even the 300, there's nothing unless it's mobile homes, and they just don't come up for sale anymore.
We can do mobile homes on this product.
Can?
Yes. It has to be detitled.
Can you go back to your chart where they didn't qualify for 360, I think it was? So where they didn't qualify here, would the down payment help in this situation?
It could, yeah, of course, but it'll be a substantial amount. I couldn't tell you offhand, but I would say probably $20,000-$30,000.
Yeah. So that's another thing that comes out of pocket also.
So we, and I was talking to Victoria, I would really love to do a home buyer course with you guys over the town, anybody that can come, because these clients that are looking to, have their first time buying their first home as a first time home buyer need to understand, how negative debt is, and when going to buy a new home. Mortgage. Real quick, I wanted to speak on if you have a client that is, purchasing a home, the sellers can pay for the closing costs up to 6% of the purchase price. So I've had clients that didn't have to come out of pocket at all. They just had to have 1 month reserves, $2,000 in an account, and they didn't have to put anything down. They didn't have to pay closing costs because the sellers were willing to pay the closing fees. So in a perfect scenario, they just had to have $2,000 in reserves. So that's it. That was my presentation. Do you have any other questions?
You mind sharing that?
So this slide, I have it vetted out to be approved with South State. It has not yet. So once it is approved, then I will, of course, we can share that.
And thank you for your effort. That's a lot of really eye-opening work.
I know you guys would want that. Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Meredith.
Thanks, Meredith. So to piggyback what Ms. Meredith just said, I am trying to line up a homebuyers class. I reached out to a couple of locals in the area that work with home buying. So just trying to match up schedules and match up location. This is a busy time of the year, so everybody gets kind of out and about. So stay tuned. We are working on putting something together. That ends what I have for you guys. I'm going to turn it back into the hands of Chairman.
For the record, please note that
Yes, for the record, Ms. Gwen Chambers joined us. Sorry, no problem.
okay, now we open up for public comment. We have Ms. Brown in the audience. Would you like to share anything in public comment?
Good morning. Thank you for recognizing me. I'm just here for information.
All right, anything from the committee? I know. It's like taking a deep breath every time, right?
Is there a way, is there a way that we could do, in combination with the product that Meredith just, shared with us, home buyers assistance in combination with the home buying class?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Home buyers assistance, offer a product of home buyers assistance, meaning maybe helping with the down payment assistance.
You always come back with that.
I mean, because $20,000 is a lot already when you're in a place where there's very low to no inventory of a 300,000 plus home.
Yeah.
And then to also have the closing costs of $7,000. That's a lot to come out of pocket when you're already trying to live an affordable life. So I know we have a partner, or not a partnership, but we have a connection with Community Works, and they are doing some things in Beaufort, the city of Beaufort, and with Beaufort Memorial. But if it's an option that we can revisit.
Dan and I both attend the local government meetings on a monthly basis that have now, have now adopted a program that might be able to assist. It's basically for developers to build affordable homes. I know we talked about it, but I don't think we confirmed whether it's going to have down payment assistance attached to that. So
I can find the answer.
They used to have that like years ago with Wachovia. Used to have a down payment assistant program if you go through a class, like a home buyer's class years ago.
Let me, I think part of this has been the most challenging thing that I've experienced in the whole time I've sat on council is, and then the prices just keep escalating. And we keep trying to think outside the box to find a way to put a square in a round hole. But I remember years ago, St. Joe Candler, they were taking, at the time, they were paying $5,000 or $10,000 with an employee as a down payment, and they would forgive that debt at the end of 5 years. But the employee had to basically have an agreement with them, their employer, saying, I will stay the full 5 years. When they did, they forgave the debt. Fred and I guess it was last year, Surge Group, and I don't know where they've gone with this, they met with the Community Foundation of the Low Country, and they were going to raise $15 million to try to purchase housing for employees of theirs to live in, whether they were going to rent them or sell them. I think probably, I don't know what they were going to do. Do you know whether it was going to be rental or rental? So anyway, where I guess I'm trying to go with this, Gwen, is it's worth us trying to strategize to try to come up with a method that maybe some people could come up with some greater down payment assistance. They may have to sign a contract with maybe some employers may be willing to do it, is what I'm getting at. Now, 20,000 is a large number, and I don't know if we can overcome that or not, but we got to make
But
it.
even offering 5 or 10 will help with It's 20,000 plus the 7,000 closing costs. It's 30,000 essentially. So any little bit to help with the home buyer, especially if it's a first time home buyer, but to help with the affordability of it all. And maybe we should start looking into partnerships with employers, large employers around here to see what they can offer. But we definitely have a product or a resource with Community Works and a connection, so we should definitely look into it as an option.
Do you know what Community Works offer now, or you thought?
I think for Beaufort Memorial it's 10,000, and I want to say for the city of Beaufort it's 5,000. And it does have those same qualifications, like you stay along with them for 5 years, or you sign a contract for 5 years, and if you leave for reasons not unto them, then you owe X, Y, Z. But
So you're giving me some homework. I'll look into it.
South State Bank is probably one of the most aggressive bankers that is trying to move the needle for us, and offering 100% is also a big deal, but yeah, unusual.
and with no PMI,
Yeah.
that's huge.
And can I just, sorry, I forgot to mention that we are hear of a new product coming down the pipe here soon. It's 100% AMI with new mortgage insurance. I don't have any specific details as to if it's has to be in a low to moderate income census tract. I don't think those qualifications apply. So I think there's a couple other loan programs because we are, as a bank, being aggressive in trying to capture our first time home buyers. And so I'll follow up with you as soon as I hear anything, but it's coming soon.
But I mean, you coming back every month?
Maybe. I will pass along that information as soon as I hear, but I saw 2 emails last week and I'm super excited. So I will share with you the first I hear.
All right, thank you.
All right, so we gave out a lot of information for us to go back to our desk and ponder with. So with that being said, pass it back to Chairman.
Okay, any other thoughts, any other concerns?
Not a concern, just an observation. Last month, Meredith and I attended the Hilton Head Realtors Association luncheon, and Hilton Head itself has taken a page out of our book, and they are with their affordable housing, and they're going to. And they have some land right as you get on the island, I think around Squire Pope or something like that, that the town owns, and they're going to be building, guess what? Multiple units, multiple family units. And I thought about that just now. It's like, oh yeah, they really did take a page out of our, out of our book, so.
It took more than a page. A couple of pages. They even have a home neighborhood assistance program now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is good. Yeah. Thank you all for your time and all that you offered. Thank you, Meredith, for being here with us today. You brought a wealth of information, and hopefully we can get some things forward with that. Meeting is now adjourned.
Great, thank you all.
Okay, location.